This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Welcome to DBL, everyone. It's Wednesday, October 6th, hump day. I'm Tori here with my good friends Erica and Al. Looking sharp, all of you.
You look great, too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. The former Facebook employee turned whistleblower testified on Capitol Hill yesterday and laid the blame on CEO Mark Zuckerberg for putting profits above public safety. Take a look at this.
Mark holds a very unique role in the tech industry in that he holds over 55% of all the voting shares for Facebook. There are no similarly powerful companies that are as unilaterally controlled. And in the end, the buck stops with Mark. There's no one currently holding Mark accountable but himself.
That's the quote. The buck stops with Mark. Zuckerberg is hitting back. He published a letter saying the company cares deeply about issues like safety, well-being, and mental health. He also called for government regulation of the social network. Meantime, after the Facebook outage earlier this week, some are saying major outages of internet giants could be a national security issue. That's what I first thought was happening, didn't you? I thought there might have been a cyber attack. So could you live without the internet? Or if one of the big tech giants suddenly went dark, like Google, what would you do? Could you handle it? I told them yesterday, Erica, I went on a 90s walk. I left my phone. No one could reach me. No one knew where I was. Listening to birds, leaves, trees. So I like it, but I do know if all of a sudden I couldn't be on Google, I'd kind of freak out, or email. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is something that we really need to consider. Are there problems with social networks in general? Absolutely. What are we willing to do about it, though? So when you said I went on a 90s walk, you just walked.
Yeah, it's true. It's just walking.
You got to dress it up, though.
Yeah, you just went outside.
It was really interesting, though.
Yeah, but also just the idea that there was like this push to have to do something. Now, for me, I was actually at a funeral. I was with family during the time. I didn't even know there was an outage until it was announced on my cell phone. I got the notification that there was this massive outage. So I can't tell you what I would have done because I just went about my business as usual.
I feel like Erica would be fine without any, she'd be fine.
Yeah, I could tell you what I'd be doing is I did it. It was called my mid-20s. It was pre-internet, and I loved every second of it. I miss it. I look back on it like old black and white films, Tori. You know,
It's a Ken Burns zoom in.
Everybody says that, you know, I did it for the gram, and I realized we just did it because we wanted to have fun, and we wanted to go do things, and there was an authenticity to what we did. Now when I see things on the internet, even if they're sweet, Erica, I feel like when somebody goes, I went to this homeless shelter and gave $500 and I'm like, why'd you have to film that, bruh? Mm-hmm. You know, you're also monetizing this too, bruh. So it's like there's this thing where I don't believe you. Like Jay-Z said, you need more people. I liked it when people just did things because out of the kindness of their heart. Erica didn't realize there was an outage because she was doing something more important than the internet.
Very true. Very true. Well, let us know. I know you all couldn't live without us, right? Okay, moving on.
I love you.
Monica Lewinsky, this is super interesting. She's speaking out about former President Bill Clinton's role in their affair scandal. So here's what she told Jake Tapper last night on CNN.
We never should have even gotten to a place where consent was a question. So it was wholly inappropriate as the most powerful man, my boss, 49 years old. I was 22, literally just out of college. And I think that the power differentials there are something that I couldn't ever fathom consequences at 22 that I understand, obviously, so differently at 48.
Interesting to hear her take now, and she is producing, just so you know, impeachment, the Ryan Murphy story that's going on right now. You always had an interesting take on that. It was just a total abuse of power in terms of ageism in some ways. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, I think that when we talk about people being adults, they're adults when we want them to be adults, and then they're children when it fits the agenda for them to be children. It's interesting that she's having this conversation now. She isn't even as old as Bill Clinton was when all of this happened. Wow. So the perspective would be very different. But at the end of the day, she was 22. I understand that she was technically an adult, but how much, if you're in a situation where there is such a difference in power and you have such little experience with said power, what would you do in that situation? And would it be the end of your world if all of a sudden you were ousted because you weren't going ahead with the agenda with someone so powerful?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I
What do you
mean,
think, Al?
you know, this is a weird kind of turn to take, but I was watching the national championship game last year, and a player from my favorite team dropped the ball, and I was yelling at the TV, and he took his helmet off, and he was a kid. You know, he's probably 20.
Yeah.
But it just shocked me how young he was at 20 years old. And I mean, he didn't even have facial hair
like
yet.
peach
yeah.
fuzz, yeah.
And you forget when you're 20 or 22, Erica, if I say, you know what, Erica, you're never going to work in this business again. You don't have any body of work to know that this is just some manager and he can't talk to me like this.
Right.
You're like, well, that's it. I'm done. I can't go anywhere. You don't have that perspective at that age. So you're looking to your elders to guide you. They literally call them mentorships. And we now turn around and attack the young. Just the power dynamic at a bar. A 50-year-old manager and
Think
a
about
20-year-old.
50 to 22. He was 49. She was 20.
And
That
we're
is
mad at her.
And we got mad at her, the intern. I will also say, living in D.C., when you walk through the wall, like the hallway of the Library of Congress or the Senate or the West Wing, which I've been in, it's intoxicating, that power. You feel almost on another level. So she also felt incredibly honored that the president of the United States,
I couldn't imagine.
At 22, wanted her in the West Wing, in the Oval Office, is another layer, I think, a fair layer to bring up. All right, here's a weird news headline for you. Drunk man who went missing joined search party looking for himself. Oh, no. Excuse me, they reportedly searched for hours, and the man apparently found out they were looking for him when the guy next to him began to shout his name, and he was like, I'm here.
Yeah. This is why you don't look for drunk people for 12 to 24 hours.
We don't know that,
Like, yeah,
Al.
because look,
We don't know
drunks
that.
wander, and like you can't.
He was
All right,
looking
and like
for
this is
himself.
how many people wasted their time. And honestly, not to make this serious, but this you always go, you know, this is so weird. Erica didn't show up for work. Let's go to the police, and they always go, you got to wait 24 hours. And it's because of stuff like this. Even when like normal people, if somebody doesn't show, it is probably something suspicious.
Right.
But
Can you
shout out to
imagine?
this dude. What was
Ow!
he?
I'm right here.
What was he drinking?
I don't know.
Do you
Well,
think it
first, I just want to backtrack on that conversation because if I don't show up to work, please come looking for me.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like
Please
we would
come looking for me
immediately.
right away.
I'm not waiting
Don't
a
be
day
like,
until.
Don't be like, wow, you know, it's 10:30. Let's, you know, maybe look at noon. Like, nah, y'all need to send somebody.
It would be a big deal, yeah. But when you always see it, it's kind of frustrating when you see these reenactments. They're like, we went to the police, said my daughter didn't show up for college class, and they're like, yeah, we'll check tomorrow. It's like tomorrow. She could be in another country by then. So yeah, this is why.
What a story to tell your family.
I think a lot.
They were looking
there's a lot
for
of passing
me.
out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of passing out. There's a lot of sleepovers. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, we do have to give a big DBL shout out to this year's Fat Bear Week winner. Number, drum roll please. Just me, okay? 480, also known as Otis. Otis was crowned the most portly. He's won several times, including 2014, 2016, and 2017.
Well, when you find something you're good at, stick with it.
Yeah. I like
You
it.
stick to it.
Body positivity and bringing back the name Otis.
Yeah, how do you feel when you hear the word Otis? Where are you immediately?
Oh man, Otis, I'm sitting in my grandparents' like living room listening to some jazz. And I can smell the scotch from my uncles in the other room.
Don't forget that pipe.
Yes. Oh,
Tobacco in the pipe.
What happened to pipes? I think they're terrible for you. I think that's what happened, but they smell so good.
My dad famously tried to have a pipe in college and had, of course, what my reaction was like,
Yeah.
So it was good for Jerry to not be smoking anymore.
It's a good look, though.
You look very professorial.
Yes.
There you go. Coming up on DBL, the cost of cancer is way more than financial. How these three amazing women are working to clean up the cost for cancer patients. You do not want to miss this incredible story. And Jason Momoa may look tough, but he claims he is not the king of the house. We're talking about who takes the lead in relationships coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
So David, our stage manager, was just talking about the video of the drunk guy in the bar who's looking at the mirror and is like telling the guy to go, and it's him. I used to work at a lounge that had this massive window massive mirror right next to the bar. And once a night, someone would try to go to the other room, but really they were just running into the window or the mirror. And I'm just like, how do y'all not know that that's a mirror and it's you? Like you're running into.
I think the second you buried the lead there. It's you. That would be not like somebody that kind of looks like you or you had a hat pulled over your head. It's you, and you're upset because you won't get out of your way to go to this imaginary room.
Just like, come on.
Head of the household.
It's a really interesting thing that, like, you know, I think it's in half the states now, maybe less than that. Marijuana is legal, and it took our lifetimes and whatever. But, like, we just sell this liquid on planes, in movies, at sporting events. You could take a beer to Little League, and but it's like this thing that makes people disoriented. They don't understand. Have you ever like tried to reason with a drunk person? Like you're like, dude, I'm buying you an Uber.
I would say a lot of
I got
people.
you a hotel. All you have to do is go there. You don't even know. You're like unreasonable.
You're like, I'm trying to help me help you in this moment.
They won't.
But anytime that's ever happened, I always think back to like a moment where I'm like, this is my karma. This is my karma from 1999.
Oh yeah.
You know, like,
so many people helped Al Jackson. So like.
Jazz. Welcome back to DBL. Jason Momoa is on the cover of Men's Health Australia, and in the article, he discusses his marriage to Lisa Bonet. Jason says he is nothing like the character he played in Game of Thrones, saying I may look big and tough, but I'm not. I'm nothing like Khal Drogo. I'm not even the king of my own house. I'm absolutely terrified of my wife. So here's the question. Who wears the pants, or is the king in your relationship? And what does that even mean these days? I feel sort of icky transparently saying pants or king. That's an outdated term to me. Women can wear pants too, shocker. But what do you guys think when you say here, king of the household or wears the pants? Is that outdated, and who does it in your household?
well, no one wears pants in my household because my husband says that home is where the pants aren't.
Yes.
And I tend to wear a skirt.
Absolutely.
So
pants in the house is weird.
Yeah. You know, I don't think we have any gender roles, but I definitely, when it comes to certain like business affairs and financials, I will defer to my husband because he ran a massive company, and our household emulates more of like a company dynamic.
Right.
So yeah, when we sit down
hot.
and have a board meeting, no, I mean it is.
I'm just kidding.
It's super hot.
You guys are a very attractive couple. I don't want this to get weird.
But yeah, like when we sit down on a Sunday to talk about what's happening with the finances, is like a board meeting, and I'm sitting taking notes. I want to know.
Wow. But I will say, when we go to your house for your parties, you are, to me, the star of that the parties.
Oh, he wants nothing to do with that.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, he's there as a guest at that point. Yeah.
Because I'm always like, Eric.
I think what Eric is trying to say, and this is a very weird dynamic they have, they both assess what their strengths are, and then they go with that to have the most stable relationship. That's really weird. I don't understand why that hasn't always been. Obviously, my girl is just the queen of organization, but you know, so I defer to her on all things, almost everything, because the way her job is in strategy. So she looks at where we want to go and then breaks down the steps to get there. Where I'm just like, let's just get there and be fine.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right,
so,
right.
You know, but you know, you're talking about kings and queens and why that sounds outdated. But I always thought the king was always kind of put to the side. You look at Game of Thrones. Who's the star of that? The queen.
Yeah, the queen.
The queen is always usually the one secretly if you look at all these shows, the queen is really kind of running things, and the king is more of a figurehead.
I will say this as well. Women couldn't have their own checking account or credit card since 1974, until 1974. That makes it hard to be in charge of your own household and finances when you can't yourself have agency to get your own credit card. So 1974 is when we were allowed to do so. I think what we're hearing is partnerships, partners, and that's what we're going into. It's equal. It's just more equal now.
That's what a marriage is.
That's what a marriage is. Or a threesome or a quartet, whatever you feel.
All right.
Coming up on DBL.
You're going to go to break on that?
No, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Meet the Cancer Cartel, a group of 3 women fighting the financial strains of cancer treatment. This is such an amazing story, and it's coming up next. Stay tuned.
32.
Let's talk about what this drug is and how it's different from treatments already out there. It's a laboratory-made version of virus-blocking antibodies that help fight off infections. If authorized, this drug will be the first long-acting antibody treatment to get emergency authorization for preventing COVID-19. 2 other antibody drugs have been approved for use after possible exposure to the virus. AstraZeneca's head of research and development says the long-acting formula is designed to boost immunity for up to a year. If approved, this drug likely would not be available to everyone. AstraZeneca says they want to protect people who don't get enough protection with the COVID-19 vaccine, like people with compromised immune systems. The company says late-stage human trials showed the antibody drug reduced the risk of developing symptomatic COVID-19 by 77%. More than 3/4 of the participants had suppressed immune systems because of conditions like cancer or lupus. It's important to note the FDA has stressed antibody drugs are not a substitute for getting vaccinated. AstraZeneca also said this drug would provide more protection along with getting the shot. Antibody drugs are expensive to produce and require an IV or injection and healthcare workers to administer. Health experts agree vaccines are still the most effective, longest-lasting form of protection against the virus.
Rob, good to see you. Welcome back to DBL. Cancer is expensive. Even if you haven't experienced it personally, we all know the toll it takes on loved ones. I know I do. Earlier, we sat down with 3 angels. They're all cancer survivors, and they're committed to making the cost of cancer less of a burden on those already suffering. They go by the Cancer Cartel, and that's today's DBL Spotlight.
I'm Carrie.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Shelly, and we are the Cancer Cartel. We are all 3 cancer survivors.
Katie and I were on our way home from another nonprofit event when the idea for Cancer Cartel was born. We were talking about the overwhelming cost of cancer, and we were also talking about our shared passion for luxury fashion, and Cancer Cartel was born. We got our 501c3 in October of 2019 and hit the ground running.
I came up with the name Cancer Cartel because I was trying to think of a name that was edgy and super tough like the 3 of us are. And I came up with Cancer Cartel. At first, these guys were a little scared of it. They were like, what does it mean? I said, it doesn't matter what it means. It's awesome. And it's taking 2 words that are super scary and usually wouldn't go together and just kind of flipping them around and making them awesome, I guess.
I am a skin, thyroid, and breast cancer survivor.
I am a lymphoma and skin cancer survivor.
And I'm a breast and skin cancer survivor. We all 3 had to make financial decisions while we were going through our cancer journeys ourselves. One particular story that really touched me when Katie was going through treatment, my sister, in the hallway I heard a woman speaking to a nurse about how she could not afford to pay her rent and the prescription drugs that she was supposed to be getting that day. And that just really touched me, like how hard this cancer really is, not just going for your body, but just the financial burden and stress it puts on you.
It's so important for us to do this because we have been there. We know exactly how toxic the financial stress of cancer can be. And there's so much in the media about research and funding, which we agree is incredibly important. But what there isn't is media attention and money for the financial impact, the increased living expenses, the day-to-day costs. And we're here to change that.
Carrie, Katie, and Shelly, welcome to DBL. Yes. Oh my gosh, we are so honored to have you here because we here at DBL love everything you're doing. And personally, I've got so much love for you ladies, and to our viewers out there who may not know, these three women helped my sister Monica battle breast cancer. So personally, thank you.
Oh, you're so
It is
welcome.
our pleasure. We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Wow. Well, what can you tell our viewers exactly, like what the Cancer Cartel is for those who are undergoing cancer treatment and how they may be financially struggling? Please, this is your chance to address the viewer who many of our viewers, I'm sure, are either going through cancer treatment themselves or they know someone.
Well, our mission is cleaning up the cost of cancer. And we do that in a lot of creative ways. Cancer is very, very expensive. But the main way that we do that is we accept luxury donated fashion items. Think shoes, handbags, clothing. And we resell those items and give the proceeds directly to people who are fighting cancer.
To receive one of your grants, you have to be a current cancer patient or have completed treatment within a year. We can only imagine what kinds of stories you hear from those who have applied. Is there one that really touched your heart that you can share with our audience?
One woman especially that just touched us. She's a single mom of 4 young children. Her husband left her when she was diagnosed with cancer. Her son's birthday was approaching. He was turning 5, and she couldn't afford just a simple birthday gift for him. So, that's what she was reaching out. Some of these things are just so small, but to her, it meant the world.
Yeah.
And we were so appreciative that we could help her and support her in that.
Now, you guys all three went through cancer treatment. So what was your breaking point when it came to paying for your treatments?
As you're sitting at home and you're seeing all of these overwhelming medical bills show up at your house, not only that, but your daily living expenses are dramatically increased. So you're faced with $500, $5,000, $10,000 bills coming in, but you're also paying for fuel back and forth to treatment. You're eating out more because you're at a hospital. And you might not be able to work. So compound that with the loss of wages, it's so stressful. Financial stress is the worst kind of stress. And if you're financially stressed, you're not able to get well. And we knew there had to be a better way.
You say beauty and philanthropy are at the heart of who you are. Why is beauty, I love that word, such a core part of what you do? What does that mean?
I think for all of us, it was important for us when we were going through treatment to get ready in the morning and put makeup on and get dressed. Sometimes, not for everybody, but sometimes if you look better, you feel better.
Yeah, right.
Me personally, I was bald. I had no eyelashes, no eyebrows, nothing. It was really important to me to put makeup on and get dressed. I had to go in every day. My battle was super long, so I couldn't work for a long time. And kind of to keep myself busy, I was buying luxury items, shopping a lot online anyways, and reselling them on eBay.
Smart.
And on other sites. So that's kind of we came up with Fashion Funds the Fight, and that's where Cancer Cartel was born.
DBL Nation, how incredible are these women? You can learn more about them, how you can help them by visiting Cancer Cartel's site at cancercartel.com. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Attention.
Sweaty pits and funky BO, people usually put on deodorant or antiperspirant. Most antiperspirants contain aluminum to help you sweat less. Deodorants, for the most part, don't use aluminum. So why am I talking to you about this? Well, people on Twitter are asking if aluminum in deodorants can cause breast cancer. Some of these claims have been circulating online since the late 1990s, with some saying aluminum in antiperspirants clog sweat ducts in your armpits, which prevents your body from purging toxins, which then build up in the lymph nodes below the arms, causing cell mutations and ultimately breast cancer. With October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're here to clear this up once and for all. So let's verify. Does aluminum in antiperspirants or deodorants cause cancer? Our sources for this are 3 dermatology experts, the National Cancer Institute, the American Cancer Society, and the Food and Drug Administration. All of our experts say deodorants and antiperspirants with aluminum are safe. Dr. Corey Hartman says there's no science to back this claim up.
There's never been a study that has linked aluminum in deodorant or antiperspirant, I should say more precisely, to any sort of cancer-causing condition.
Dr. Friedman adds that some chemicals in antiperspirants could cause skin irritation, but not cancer.
I cannot be clearer. There's no evidence that supports that these are dangerous with any of the clinical evidence we have to date.
So we can verify, no. Aluminum in deodorants or antiperspirants does not cause cancer. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Don't miss a day of DBL. I am here to receive said gift. Bold debates. Come on now. Enough.
Get real.
It blows my mind.
Hot celebs.
Happy 5th anniversary.
Love a suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Seriously, Al, give her a break.
That just sounded weird, actually.
And all the laughs.
Yes, Erica, feeling it. Okay, I'm done with you. I'm done.
DBL is always all new every day.
Welcome back to DBL. I read about this. If you want to live a longer life, focus on exercise but not weight loss. We're chatting about it on DBL's Focus on Fitness presented by QB. So according to a new study published in iScience, the risk of premature death was lowered by 30% or more in obese men and women who started exercising. But those who lost weight solely through dieting showed no decrease in mortality rates at all. They also found that those who go on and off diets frequently had more health problems like diabetes, high cholesterol, and lower life expectancy. Staying active is so important. QB's made it easy regardless of physical ability or age. Try their Underdesk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more.
That's right.
I've heard about that just the exercise is important.
That's what I like to hear. Now I'll just keep eating chocolate and doing some curls.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Bye, guys.